Lots of people ask me, what is a cooper? I tend to reply by saying, he's a person who actually makes barrels. But the fact is, they're not all barrels. This here is not a barrel. We call it a cask, but this size of cask has got its own individual name. This would be a firkin. So a firkin would be 9 gallons. A barrel is actually a cask size, so a beer barrel would be 36 gallons. What we're going to go through today is the process of dressing the staves. Regardless of the size of the cask, the process is very, very much the same. There's a couple of tools which we're going to use for doing this. The draw knives people tend to recognise, but we have two here. One's called a hollowing knife. As you can see by the shape of the knife, it is actually hollowed out. And this would be used for dressing the inside of the stave, so it's putting that curve on the inside. The back of the staves, or the backing, is got that shape there, so that would fit the curve of your hoop. And we use the straight bladed knife for that. It's called a backing knife. But as I say, most people tend to see these type of knives and they call them draw knives. The timber we're using is oak. The reason oak is used, it's got all the right qualities to produce good quality casks. It doesn't put any bad smells or tastes onto your food or to your drink. We can bend it. What I'm sat on is called a shaving horse. The horse itself is a form of a vice. And the reason why it's called a horse, obviously it's got 4 legs. This part is called the head, and you sit astride it. The beauty of a shaving horse is that the harder you actually pull with the knife, the more pressure you're going to put with your feet, which in turn will lock that piece of timber in there nice and tight. So we can start off by dressing the inside of the stave, and we're going to use the hollowing knife to do this. So perfectly safe, even though we're pulling the knife towards us. I'll put my eyes on. When you're actually hollowing the staves, what you should be achieving is that the middle of the stave should be slightly thinner than the ends. The less material you have in the centre within reason will make the timber easier to bend, but at the end of the day there's going to be a groove cut in the end of the staves, and that's where the heads or the bases are going to drop into. So that's why we need a little bit more substance in the end of the timber itself to allow for that groove to be put in. Turn them over, now we can do the backing. Now we can put the stave on its side, and we're going to pull from the centre of the stave to the end. So in effect you're putting a taper onto the piece of timber itself. Also we're putting an angled cut, which is the angle of the joint. That's basically how the staves are dressed, using the shaving horse and the hollowing and the backing knife. The final truing up of the stave now is going to be done on the long planes in front of me, which are called the jointers, and this is where you're going to ensure that the overall shape of the stave is absolutely spot on. So this part of the stave here, this half here, needs to be a carbon copy of that there. So the angles of the joints need to be at the same degree. These joints need to be perfectly flush. Without perfectly flush joints, you're going to get leaky casks. All we're going to do is actually push the stave over the plane, but we're only going to plane from the centre of the stave to the end. What you'll find now, there'll be a slight bump in the middle of the stave itself, and we can just take that off, like so.